All right, boys and girls, we are on pages 74 and 75 of social studies today. We'll start with 74, Plains culture. Like all Native Americans, the Plains people had different customs and kinds of government. Government. The Lakota people, another branch of the Sioux, were made up of 7 nomadic groups. Each group made its own choices. However, belonging to the larger Lakota group required the smaller groups to respect each other's hunting areas and to live in peace. So these 7 groups, they worked together. They had an understanding. They would basically govern their own little mini tribe or whatever you want to call it. But they would also respect each other and respect each other's hunting grounds. So if one tribe was hunting somewhere, the other tribe would stay away from it. Usually they would have it marked so that each tribe knew that another tribe had it. They had special markings that they would put on it so they knew to stay away from it. The Cheyenne governed differently. They were 10 groups that were independent of each other in many ways. However, each group sent its leaders to meet in a council of chiefs. All the Cheyenne groups had to follow the council's decisions. So each of the 10 groups, they would send people or delegates into this council. The council would decide rules, laws, etc., and whatever they came up with, all of the 10 tribes, they had to follow. Among the Plains people, every person in the group was considered equal. No one person was born more important than anyone else. Any man could become chief if he was a good warrior and a good leader. Basically, what they're saying there is that chiefs weren't passed down from generation to generation or sticking within the same family. So anybody could become chief in a tribe as long as they were a skilled hunter uh, and a good leader. So anybody become the leader of the tribe. Traditions and religious beliefs. Even though they had different ways of governing, many of the Plains groups shared certain traditions and religious beliefs. Each group had a story that told how they came to be. The Blackfoot, for example, believed that they were made by a spirit called Old Man. Among the Plains groups who farmed corn, I'm sorry, let me start over with that. Among the Plains groups who farmed, corn was very important. Every year they held ceremonies to celebrate and give thanks for the corn harvest. A ceremony is a celebration to honor a cultural or religious event. Other ceremonies mark the beginning and the end of buffalo hunts, the naming of a child, or the beginning of a marriage. The Sioux held a ceremony called the Sundance. They believed that it helped keep the buffalo strong. Many Plains people held sundances or similar ceremonies before the summer buffalo hunt. Ceremonies such as the Sundance showed the Plains people's respect for nature and helped build a sense of community. So important things they would celebrate. They would celebrate prior, they would celebrate after. Celebrating before going hunting is looking forward to a good hunt and acknowledging nature that hopefully you'll give us a good hunt. I would like you to look back on page 74 at the bottom. There is a picture of a calendar robe. It says many Plains people kept the history of their group on what is now called a calendar robe. Each year, leaders met to decide what event should be recorded on the robe. So they have different symbols. They pointed to one, it kind of looks like a deer, and that means a successful elk hunt was held. Uh, when they put a thing that looks like a bunch of meat hanging on a pole, that means buffalo meat was plentiful. And so, anyway, they did this to kind of acknowledge their history each year of what events happened so that they could remember it. All right, that's all for today. And if you ever wonder why I wait, I'm not really looking for the pause button. Sometimes when I cut it off, it will chop off about 15 seconds. So I wait about 15 seconds before I hit stop in case it gets cut off.